This is here we go. I feel like at the top of every single one of these, whenever we talk about the previous week's episode, I always say, guys, we got a lot to get into. But boy, have we got a lot to get into. Like, holy crap.
So much.
This was one episode. Of course, season finale did not disappoint, did not let down. So we'll just dig right into it. Of course, this episode, Tolerance is Extinction Part 3. I know she's not in her, Michelle's not in her room. I know.
I know.
That's
Yeah,
just
I'm
where
at
like,
the
are you?
I'm at the mansion. I'm at the X mansion.
Okay.
I
there you go. All right. So this episode opens, we see like wartime. You know, obviously we're showing the origins of Xavier and Magneto meeting. Turn by the Birds is playing. I don't know if that was strategically placed, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless. We see the origins of some of their philosophical differences, them coming out to each other as mutants. And then waves appear outside, showing that this is not so much a flashback as much as this is inside Magneto's mind. Xavier pleads with Magneto to restore the damage done to the Earth. Magneto refuses. So Xavier unleashes like a full psychic attack on him, hijacks his mind, restores the magnetic field around the Earth. In the Situation Room, we see President Kelly along with Iron Man and Captain America. We also see Daredevil out on the streets as the EMP, reverse EMP, I guess you would call it, is now restoring the magnetic field. Silver Samurai looks Silver Samurai, just. We see Doctor Strange, who is performing surgery via candlelight, which was cool. But unfortunately, this also reactivates all the Prime Sentinels. We see Jean Grey sinking in the lake. Cable is a prisoner of Bastion and Sinister, and we see Morph, Beastorm, and Forge, all prisoners of regular Sentinels. So I'm going to bite off that little tidbit because it just gets deeper and deeper as the episode goes on. We'll start with you, Dylan. What were your thoughts on the whole opening salvo here?
Well, kind of like the last episode, there was kind of like a slow, like not too much actiony type of beginning. So it was nice to, have that like, where were we last time? Let's recollect and regather ourselves before there's a whole bunch of action. And cameos are the best thing ever, especially when it's cameos of like all the cameos we kept getting were mutants or characters that are so related to the X-Men, and now we're getting like Daredevil and Doctor Strange. That's awesome.
Stefania?
Just going off of what Dylan was saying, we're kind of like the outer Marvel or outer X-Men world, which the rest of the Marvel characters are kind of like feeding into the X-Men world now, and we're seeing the connection between all these shows, especially like a bunch of shows that were in the 90s for Marvel. So we know that it all takes place in the same universe. Oh my goodness.
I'm getting like Mimic vibes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry to interrupt you,
God.
Stefania.
No, that's
just sitting
perfect.
here.
That's the best interruption. I also really love the beginning with Magneto and Xavier talking in the bar, and they're essentially talking about like, oh, are mutants real? Like, I've never seen one, and even if they are, like, they better run and hide before somebody thinks of making camps. And the undertone of that, it's like two guys coming out to each other, and I love the significance of that, because it's like when Xavier telepathically showed Magneto, that said to him that he's a mutant, he's kind of like saying, I'm gay. And then Magneto's responding like shocked, like I met someone just like me. And then Xavier's like, do you know any others? It's kind of like, have you ever been with anybody else? And it's like the underlining tone that you're getting from the message, and it's a beautiful reference. I love that opening sequence, even if it's like a slow start. We're kind of diving in real deep, into Magneto's mind and Xavier's mind, and it's a great message that it gives out.
Michelle?
The bromance is real. Like, these two guys are just clearly there in their feels with each other. And it's like Stefania said, like, it's definitely like a gay love story here. I mean, yeah. And but the cameos, just seeing how like the everything that is going on, how it's affecting the entire world and like different other like pockets of the Marvel universe. That was pretty cool. I personally loved seeing Cloak and Dagger make a little cameo because we kind of got them in the Marvel universe previously with the TV show. I think it was on, oh gosh, Hulu.
Freeform.
Freeform. I'm like it wasn't Fox. It was like one of those other networks. But it's nice to see that they're still there and a part of the Marvel universe. So it was great. No notes.
I
Yeah.
literally thought Xavier and Magneto were gonna kiss. I was like, they're so gonna kiss right now, and
Like
I was
18
waiting for
times
it.
in this whole
That's what
episode.
I
people
know.
were yelling at the cantina. They were like, "Kiss, kiss,
Yeah.
kiss."
That was the vibe that I got. I realized that a lot of it has to do with framing a shot, but there are so many times throughout all this like bar sequence where they're insanely close.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
majority of people in the world, if they're that close to me talking to me, I'm like, whoa, personal space. Like back
yeah.
it up. But yeah, they were in the bar. They definitely played a game of I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Was the vibe that I got off of it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to comment on that.
I did find funny that like Xavier was like, "What if mutants existed?" And Magneto's like, "Mutants don't exist," and he's like, like that face he gave. They don't exist.
That just made me think of a meme I got to make later, so keep an eye out for that, everybody. Okay, so yeah, so then things start getting. I was going to say thick, but I won't. So Bastion, Bastion, we now we cut to where we were with the whole situation that was going on with Bastion and the mutants who were there on the Galapagos. Bastion makes a note about how had Xavier taking me when my mom begged him, which we all know isn't true. That's just kind of like the reality that Bastion lives in, where he believes that he maybe should have been a part of Xavier's, but Xavier, even though his mother begged him, Xavier flat out refused, and now here we are. And he says that Operation Zero Tolerance has to move to its final phase. Humans must be protected from themselves, which is very reminiscent of Master Mold from the original, animated series, where he says, mutants are humans, so if we're doing this, then we need to basically stop humans as well. We see the Prime Sentinels attacking the White House. We see them attacking Wakanda. Out on the streets of New York City, we see Daredevil. We see Cloak and Dagger. We're assuming in Russia we see Omega Red, Crimson Dynamo, and Darkstar. And somewhere else we see Psylocke, Northstar, Aurora, Puck, and Frenzy facing off with Prime Sentinels. I realize that like these episodes have to have a runtime, but I would have loved some fight sequences of some of those. That would have been amazing. So we get to back, still there at the Galapagos. Bastion gets Sinister to force Cable to tell him how many times he came back trying to stop Genosha. Cable says 200 times. And then he immediately says, "Hey, Bastion, how's your mommy?" Which was just like so defiant. I loved it. Like just shoved it right in his face. So Bastion moves to kill Cable, and Sinister's like, "You can't do that. Like he was supposed to be my prize." And then we get the awesome moment where Jean rises back from the lake in full Phoenix form. Storm gives a great laugh. Like Alice and Celie Smith had so many great lines in the show, but for some reason that laugh will stick with me forever. We see, Jean reassembles the Scrambler thing, puts it on Bastion, that severs his connection to all the Prime Sentinels. Kind of almost seems to cure everybody, I think, of the Prime Sentinel infestation. She drags Bastion deep into the ground. The Sentinels holding the X-Men there are freed, and the Phoenix burns the stolen genetics out of Mr. Sinister, leaving a frail old man who personally, I have to say, cracks me up as he like begs Jean not to, like, for everything Sinister has done at the last moment. He's actually begging for like some form of mercy out of this, like anything but my looks. Of course, this frees Cable, and then the Phoenix Force leaves as Jean falls and is caught by Cable. That nugget will bite off. Stefania, what are your thoughts?
What part is this? Sorry, I had to go let my dog in. What I missed the part.
We're
What
going through
happened before?
the whole
Okay.
Phoenix reemergence thing, and
Okay. I know a lot of people are like kind of tired with Phoenix because the Phoenix storyline always happens, but like I'm not. And the fact that like she needed to she was about to die, right? And so the Phoenix Force kind of took over her so to keep her alive, right? Because that's the host body, and the Phoenix Force do anything to keep the host alive. Um, so that makes sense. For people that are saying, done with Phoenix, no, I'm not done. Give me more. Um, but I also they really made Sinister so ugly. Oh my god. Like they aged him so much. I
on
was
that
like,
note, on,
damn.
on that note, Stefania, what would be the step beyond Dusty? What's the
I was
crumbly?
waiting for it. Um, what is older than dust? I don't know.
I mean, Essex, I guess. Like, you beyond Dusty, you're like Essex now. Like, oh,
We'll have to come up with something, but there's something worse than Dusty. We'll see. Um,
Oh my god.
but but I it's also like the little things that are said and done in this scene because you have Storm well, Beast gets knocked out, Storm reacts, then Bastion goes to Storm, and then hits her, and Forge is like, take your filthy paws off her. And it's like reactions like that, Forge and Storm have that relationship, that connection. So of course he's gonna respond to that. It's so many little details that it's kind of like, different storylines coming together. Because it's really like not the first time that all of them are together again, but like we're getting a lot more time with them in the same room. But yeah, I enjoyed seeing. I was like, Jean ain't dead. I enjoyed seeing Phoenix come back, and I enjoyed what Sinister got done to him, and the fact that Morph, the fact that Sinister went to Morph was like, show me how I look, and Morph did not hesitate. Like, I loved it. It's so good, and he's so ugly.
Michelle?
well, Jean's my girl. So I'm really glad that we got a Phoenix Force moment because they definitely needed a win. Like they were in dire straits here. And then all of a sudden, like Cable's like, oh, like my mom, and making those mom jokes. And then all of a sudden, Jean pops out of the water. And it was really reminiscent of just like the force, like not Jean as the Phoenix, but just the force itself, like coming in, like coming in clutch. Coming in
Dylan
clutch.
really is Morph right
Dylan.
now.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You're
Show,
not kidding.
show me what I look like. Everybody show me.
Oh god. I'm sorry. This is what you look like.
Oh my gosh.
That was
But
really fast. You got that on really quick.
I know.
you did.
It's not
You
easy.
did. Oh my god. Fix, oh my gosh. I gotta
Oh,
fix
Jesus.
myself.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna make your life longer.
Guys, we're done. Thanks for joining.
But something I liked about the Phoenix Force was that the Phoenix Force didn't stay for very long. Like it wasn't over because the Phoenix Force like came in and phoenixed everybody, where it's just like quick fix. You know, they came in, they helped out in a situation, and then they left. So it wasn't just like an easy victory. Like our heroes still have more to do. I liked that. Like Jean was not OP. Yeah.
Madeline, what do you think?
I was like, can I put this in a ponytail quick? I could not. So, I don't like the Phoenix, but I will say that
Get the fuck out. No, I'm just kidding.
I
I'm just kidding.
do like what Michelle just said, that it came and went, and then I'm fine. Like, I thought it was going to stay. I thought she was going to change to her Phoenix outfit. I was like, oh my God, no. But then it left, and I was like, oh, okay. But then I was like, Phoenix Force, you're like this super OP thing. Do you not know that you didn't kill Bastion? Like, you're still needed. Why did you leave?
Phoenix gotta go handle the business,
Yeah,
you know? Like there's space and stuff.
yeah. I was yelling at the TV like Forge when Bastion touched Storm, because don't touch Storm. Like, I wanted to kill him. Uh, and yeah, the Sinister part was funny. I like that Morph is getting. He's not even a favorite character. This is just for fun. But yeah, it was nice to see Morph get one more thing. And then they just let Sinister run away. That doesn't make any sense either. Like,
He's
yes,
just
I know
weak.
you have to save the world right now, but anyway, it was still great.
Yeah.
Phoenix could only take out one big bad, and it was like, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of Sinister. Y'all can deal with Bastion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phoenix Force was like a extra life token. Like,
Yeah.
gave you the extra
Yeah.
life, gave you 15 seconds of immunity. After that, you're on your own. That's your one. It's burned. It's out. That's all you get.
Phoenix
Yeah,
ate
but
and left no crumbs.
right.
Yeah.
That is the funny thing about Sinister. Of course, I guess it does make it dark if he's like running away and Cable caps him in the back of the head. Like, yeah. So that's over. You know.
I guess
the
Bastion's a bigger bad that they were really gonna worry about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and having I think it was great because that's what originally occurred to me when she emerged as the Phoenix. Like the Phoenix is such an OP character and such an OP storyline wise that it like eradicates other storylines around it. And for a
Yeah.
second there, I was like, I think I was a little like worried that the Phoenix was going to like storyline wise override everything that was going on with Bastion, but just kind of having it pop in and go, I think was awesome because I mean, if she's full Phoenix, the rest of this episode's a joke, right? Because she's just going to ride all over it and be like, whatever, we're done, BRB. But yeah, so after Sinister scurries off like a rat, which I will like. I want a gif of him just like like running off into the woods, like a dusty, crumbly old man in leather. like, but then Bastion reemerges from the ground. He rips off Cable's arm. Cable finds out what the sound of one man clapping sounds like, and he uses it to evolve into what I call his final form. The like Bastion evolved. He's got really wicked wings. He could fly before that, but whatever. They look badass, so we're going to run with it. And he jets off to Asteroid M. On Asteroid M, we see Rogue buckling an unconscious Magneto and Xavier into their seats. Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Sunspot, and Wolverine and Jubilee are tending to a still severely injured Wolverine. And inside Eric's mind, we see that there's now water inside the bar. Eric doesn't know who he is. Xavier, I'm here to guide you before we are both consumed. I thought this was a great scene here where Cyclops kind of leans down and says to Wolverine, like, don't you dare break her heart. Do it the best there is at what you do and heal. Jean contacts Scott psychically, and then Xavier joins their Zoom call. And Xavier says, hey, my attack shattered Eric's mind. I got to reassemble it before it's permanent, but if we're unsuccessful, we're both going to get taken down in this thing. Xavier drops out of the call. Jean tells Scott, like, hey, Bastion is on his way to you. She shows the team Bastion's new form and that he plans to bring Asteroid M down on the planet. Dylan, what you got?
Uh, the Jean Cyclops Xavier interruption is just funny because she's like talking to him, then Xavier interrupts, and like the whole time, like Jean doesn't even say anything, and then like Xavier's like, "I have to save Magneto, bye," and then Jean's just like, "Well, anyway, Bastion's coming to kill you," and the whole Scott Wolverine thing was actually kind of like romantic and like I don't know, so like I don't even know the right words, but it's like he knows that Jean will be mad if he dies, so don't. And he knows that if he mentions Jean to Logan, that is something that he will fight to stay alive for. It's cute.
Mhm. Michelle? Jean, I mean.
I love that Cyclops like acknowledges Logan's feelings for Jean. Like that's gonna like pull him through this, you know? I'm a Jean and Wolverine like shipper. Like I love them together. I think Scott should go be with Emma. Uh I think maybe this like sets something up for them to like, be with other people in the future. I don't know. I just like it. I like that. Also, I like that Bastion got his own Phoenix moment where he rises, from the ashes and utilizes Cable's arm. Is it? I don't know if it's his arm or if it's like the techno-organic virus that's like contained in his arm at all.
Yeah,
I
Art
think
of
it was like
Lucas just
both.
joined, by the way. What's up?
Lucas, I'm
Hey.
wearing your
We were just
shirt.
talking about you at the top of this whole live, man.
Yeah, the Art of Lucas merch is out in the wild
Yeah, Lucas,
everywhere.
I was at a con here in Minnesota and I saw 5 people with your shirt. I took a picture of a few of them, but some of them I was like, I like your shirt, and they looked at me and kept walking, and I was like, okay.
Oh, rude.
I'm so sorry, Michelle. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Bastian gets his Phoenix Force moment. He becomes this beautiful butterfly, travels to asteroid M to go fuck shit up, and like the team is scrambling. Like we don't know what's gonna happen because Phoenix Force dipped, and now you know we're in dire straits here. So yeah, yeah.
Stefania?
What are we on? My my dog had to go out because she can't stay in the room for longer than 5 minutes, and then my phone flipped over, and
It's okay.
what
My man's just
part?
leaving me to go get drinks. He's like, bye.
What part are we on? Because I missed a lot.
We have this scene where Cyclops kind of, whispers to Wolverine, "Don't break her heart." Do what you can
Right.
to kill. Bastion emerging and taking Cable's arm and turning into Super Bastion, I guess, and then him flying to Asteroid M, and Jean and Scott and Xavier kind of have this psychic conversation, and
Gotcha. Okay. First of all, Bastion taking Cable's arm and just letting him know how it feels to be slapped by himself. I really did enjoy that a lot. I find it's like few times where like I've seen it recently where people will take like something that the person owns and slap it with their like the one I can think of is the new Kong and Godzilla movie. I don't know if you guys saw it, but at one part Kong takes like a mini version of him and just like uses him as a weapon against the other apes, and I just found it really really funny. So that was great, and I love the fact that Xavier just pops in and is like, "Hey, an asteroid Bastion is about to come at you guys and destroy you. I'm gonna deal with what I gotta deal with here. Well, good luck, and I'll see you on the other side." He just dips out like that meme. Um, that that was pretty great. Just the sequence of like that. The scene was. It's like not comedy, but the way it happens, it's like it's pretty funny. um, so that was great. And is this the part where? Oh no, it's not. Never mind. That comes later. I was about to spoil something else. Um, yeah, I uh I thought this was a great part. Bastion. I forgot what comic that look debuted in with his wings, but it's like it's supposed to be like Archangel's wings that it was supposed to replicate. So that was pretty badass, even though I don't like Bastion. Yeah, I just I enjoyed it. It was a good scene.
X Force, I believe, was the book, and the artist was Mike Choi. Yeah, I
Gotcha.
found
Okay.
the original picture and posted it in my Instagram story the other day and tagged him in it. He was very appreciative of that.
Oh,
But
nice.
Oh, I
yeah,
love
so
Mike Choi. I
yes, he's the
love him.
best. Dylan, did I do you all right?
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm having a
You
terrible time, so if I ever skip anybody, like, just throw your hand up and be
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean, technically that's not Dylan. Technically that's me.
"That's
So,
yeah.
Matt." Um,
Yeah.
sorry,
It's
Maddie.
Matt.
Yeah. The whole the exchange where Scott and Jean are talking and like Xavier just pops in. Like, can you imagine like the city being on fire and the fire chief pops in and says, "Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I'm arguing with my boyfriend," and then just hangs up the phone. Like, like what? Bigger fish to fry right now, buddy.
oh my God.
So anyway, we did this thing, we did that. Okay. So Bastion does arrive at Asteroid M, and of course, he immediately goes for the gravity core. Rogue shows up. This was one of the most satisfying punches, I think, in all of X-Men 97, where she says, his name was Gambit, remember it, and just pow, gives them the what for. They get into an epic fight so bad they fly out of the asteroid and land on the blue area of the moon. Um, they have a really, really, really epic battle. I mean, Rogue is just pounding the living crap out of him, but of course, him being techno-organic, he just kind of repairs himself and comes at Rogue. He's getting her choked. Sunspot shows up, goes full Sunspot on his ass, which I think we'd been waiting all season for that, right? Like we knew eventually it was going to happen. Guy, if you're out there, this was your moment, and it was incredible. This fight can be seen from Earth, and you see kind of like people looking up. We have the situation with the president. President Kelly's there. He's looking over the Magneto protocols. Captain America's like, this isn't the best idea. Black Panther there kind of gives a very whimsical quote about basically just saying, "Nah, bro, I wouldn't do that." Back in Eric's mind, we see the water is continuing to rise. There is a ship outside in the distance, and on this ship we see Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Polaris, and of course Rogue. And Rogue's the only one who's not like obscured by shadow, so we know where his mind is. Um, um, Magneto's thinking about the troops who took his parents away, and as he mentions that that's on his mind, the waves sort of like crash and begin to break in through the windows. I want to deal with that one because after that, things get like really, really heated up. Michelle, what do you got?
Oh man, that was like so much. As you were talking, I was thinking about things I wanted to say, and then like there's just like so much happening. Like Rogue getting her moment, like her revenge, her true revenge moment is just iconic. Like that punch, that line, like really like fucking Bastion up. Like I loved that for her. And then Sunspot finally like truly embracing like who he is, like saving his girl, you know, like that was a great moment. I feel like they've kind of reconciled a little bit, like without them saying it. So that was really cute. Um, Remind me what else happened really quick. Like what happened at the very beginning? I'm sorry. Like I was paying attention, but like so much was happening.
Yeah,
My brain was just like computing it all crazy.
we got that, and then also the scene inside Magneto's mind.
Oh, oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, like here when we saw the boat, like my husband and I when we were watching this and we saw that boat scene, we both like audibly gasped because we're like, "Oh my God." We're like, I mean, we Pietro and Wanda, yeah, but like Polaris Like, are we finally acknowledging that these are his children? Like, Marvel, because they'd be trying to retcon stuff and like say these aren't his kids. Also, I think it was Chandler that pointed out like maybe they don't fully have the rights to these characters, so they kind of have to be blurred. But it's still like great cameos, like such great cameos that we're getting, and all these like crazy moments. I love it. I love it. Um, I was there like a diner scene too. Like I feel
Not yet.
not
Not yet.
yet. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's why like this episode had a lot. So when you
Yeah.
were talking, I'm all okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I want to
I think
make
it was like
sure.
45 minutes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was a
So it
lot.
was a long episode.
Okay. Well then I'll just that's all I have for now. I don't want to take up all the talking time.
All right, Anna. I mean, Dylan.
I did not even notice.
Oh, Michelle.
Who wore it better? We'll just run with that.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Obviously,
Stefania.
Dylan.
Well, geez, I really want Stefania to have a ton of time to talk about Rogue, but oh my God, that
Go
moment,
ahead.
like before
Go
they
ahead.
even showed her and you heard his name was Gambit, I was like screaming, like, oh my God. And then her punching him and crying, like I paused it because I feel like, so I'm not a huge Gambit fan. So I did cry when Remember It happened. It was very sad. But then I think I got over it very quickly while the rest of the world cried for like 3 weeks. But like this moment, like as soon as she said that and then punched him, I had to pause because I did start to immediately tear up. And I was like, I can't see the TV. I gotta pause it. Like, thank God she's getting her moment. Uh, and yeah, it was nice to see her get a lot of hits in and like that clap with the wind. Yeah, awesome. And yes, sunspot moment, amazing. And so, like at the beginning of this, you guys talked a lot about the Xavier Magneto and how it's like a gay couple. It very much is. And being the gay man here, like, I don't like Xavier, so I don't really talk about their relationship because I love Magneto and I would not want him to be in a relationship with Xavier. But it is very much a gay relationship. It was awesome to see Polaris and the twins. Uh, yeah.
All right, Stefania.
Oh, my girl Rogue. That was such a great entrance for her. All of that anger and revenge. That was her moment and she deserved it. I loved everything about it. Loved her, like, like, uh, um, his name was Gambit, remember it? Like that was an entrance moment that really top 3 moment entrance in X-Men 97. But also what really got me was the thunderclap. I was not expecting that. She literally bashed his face in, right? It's the blue side of the moon, picked his head up by his hair to bring him forward, just the thunderclap in his face again and have it all become like pieces and just, like that was pretty peak right there if I'm gonna be honest. I loved that moment very, very much, and any chance I get to rewatch it when I see it on my timeline, I will just watch it over and over again because it was so good. Just the fight sequences in the show have been pretty damn awesome, especially like towards the end of the season. One of my favorites was Nightcrawler and Wolverine in, I believe, part 1 of the finale, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one I really loved a lot. So, yeah, my girl got her moment, as she should. As for when I saw the part in Magneto's mind where the water's rising and he's talking about like how he can't remember his parents' faces and I think that it's like the same thing with his like family. He can't remember their faces. That's why Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and Polaris, their faces are kind of darkened, so you can't. They're in the shadows. He doesn't remember their faces. So I guess that's why you can't really see them, and only Rogue. So that was pretty cool connection there. And I remember when I saw it, I freaked the hell out because everyone was saying Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, but I was like, wait, Polaris is on the right, guys. She's right on the right. She's over there. So I really hope, I don't know what they're gonna do with the family affair, if they're gonna keep them as a family, if it's still retconned, I don't know what. But I really hope that they're still a family. Because I would love to see those moments, those storylines. And what else happened in this scene? That's like the only two I
I
That
remember.
was
think there's
about
not a.
it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. Rogue beating ass and Magneto's kids.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. This fight on the moon continues, and eventually Bastion is able to take out both Rogue and Sunspot. He returns to the asteroid where Nightcrawler immediately grabs him and teleports into Magneto's throne room. Cyclops and Jubilee are waiting. A huge fight ensues. Um, Cyclops and Bastion kind of have this thing where they blast at each other, and it meets in the middle. And Cyclops, stop hurting my family, and blows him away. But it doesn't really matter because Bastion just gets up and knocks him out anyway. Um, Jubilee, this was like, I think, Jubilee's scene because she like fully embraces it. She's had cool moments, but this was like her badass, like adult X-Men moment where like, what she learned in Motendo and in other steps along the way, she just like lays into Bastion. Um, does a ton of damage. But Bastion gets elated when a Sentinel arrives, like, oh, good, backup. And of course, it squashes them. And we come to find out that it was being used by Genestorm, Beast, and Morph as their form of transportation to Asteroid M. This was great. Bastion is trying to lift the foot off of him. He's having a serious struggle. All the X-Men are like ready to pounce, and Cyclops says, "Hey, everybody stand down. It's time to stop fighting the future and embrace it." He basically tries to plead with Bastion, like, "Hey, like, you could have joined us. Like, you can. There's still time for this. We can do this." And of course, Bastion's like, "So I basically tried to annihilate you, and now you want to recruit me." And he says, "There's one small issue with your plan, and that's the missiles of the Magneto Protocol are now heading for Asteroid M." Of course, they start hitting the asteroid. Stuff starts blowing up. The gravity core gets hit. Bastion is about to be sucked away through a hole into space, and Cyclops tries to reach out and say, "Take my hand," and Bastion just says, "Nah," and instead kind of like leaps into some form of explosion. Asteroid M begins hurtling towards the Earth. Somewhere on Earth, Ultron's looking up, going, "Oh, hell yes." Jubilee gets sucked into space, but Sunspot saves her. The X-Men want to get on the X-Jet and evacuate. Cyclops is like, "Get out of here, I'll just blast things from the inside." Instead, they decide that they are going to work together to stop this asteroid from hitting Earth. That's what we got for that scene. Stefania, I'll start with you.
Well, one thing, where did Bastion go? Because he went some sort of black hole and we don't know where he went, but I wonder if we're going to find out. Um, and, and two, I loved Jubilee's moment. We got to see her grow up halfway through this season, after her birthday episode. And in some way, Jubilee kind of represents the viewers, especially the viewers that grew up with the show in the 90s, the original one. Because back then, your kids watching it, and now we're all adults watching this show. And Jubilee kind of represents that. She's an adult now, and we're adults now. We're watching, and watching what's happening in front of our eyes, too. With what's going on in their world and our world reflectively. So that was a really great moment for her because we don't get a lot of Jubilee moments, and that was something great for her. As for the Sentinel, I thought that was really clever. I was like, oh damn, there's another Sentinel, like they're screwed or whatever. But then like they open the door and it's the X-Men and Hank says something about like the Trojan horse, and I was like, that's so Hank of him to say. Like these nerdy one-liners he's got in battle. I just keep them coming. I want a whole book just full of beast comments that he would say for different situations in battle. So that was pretty awesome. Uh, I I kind of love the fact that Cyclops here's what the X-Men's about, and it's great to see that no matter how much people hate them, they always try and see the good. And when Cyclops was like to Bastion, um, Dylan's doing something.
I know. Oh, we're getting another
Waiting for
morph
it.
moment.
Cyclops tries to recruit Bastion and save him, even when he's literally wiped out all of Genosha, Because in his eyes, Bastion almost was one of them if Xavier successfully recruited him to the X-Men. So it's selfless behavior that the X-Men have, especially when you find out that, they're going to sacrifice themselves to save mankind, save the Earth, which they didn't have to do, but they chose to do anyway because that's who they are. So that was really great of them. I wouldn't have done that, but that's just me.
Yay!
Oh,
I just heard scuffling.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, this is making sound.
And now we all feel jubilation, so it's great. Well, on that note, Dylan, take it away.
Awesome. So the Jubilee moment was cool, and I'm gonna say, first of all, I'm jealous of Michelle getting to do the Hollywood finale watch party, except for the fact that I got to do a watch party with the original Jubilee, Allison Court. And when that moment happened, Allison Court had not watched the episode. She saved it to watch that night. And she screamed so loud. And she was so happy for Jubilee. And she was like, Absissa taught her that move. And like, it was just amazing. So yeah, the Jubilee moment was awesome. I love Storm, but so Storm and Jean were on the Galapagos when Storm tried to appeal to Bastion's humanity, and he like choked her out. And now she's
rude.
up on Asteroid M, and Scott's like, we should probably appeal to his humanity. And Storm's like, yeah, sure, we should do that. What?
She's like,
The
I
hell
already
is wrong with
tried it.
you? Like, Jean and Storm should have been like, no, no, honey, we already tried that. That part was annoying, but whatever. Scott has to be the Boy Scout. Beast one-liners are amazing. We got to see Sauron for a second with more. Uh, I'm really confused on Jubilee getting sucked out into space. Were they in the atmosphere? Because if they were in
Yeah.
space, shouldn't she have died?
Yeah, I think Bo confirmed that they were close enough, in the atmosphere where she could breathe.
Okay. And yeah, humans suck. With those missiles being shot at them, rude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and like being, like a huge comic fan, the moment with Nightcrawler fighting with Bastion, this form of Bastion is the form Bastion was in when he killed Nightcrawler. And so the whole time I was like, so I thought Nightcrawler was going to die. Yeah.
Imagine they would have done that. I like lost it. Like first you kill Gambit, then Nightcrawler is his replacement, then you kill his replacement. Like,
Yeah.
No, the fandom
what kind of
would
cruelty is
riot.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It
for
loses
real.
her two lovers, but then one comes back and she doesn't really love him, and then her brother dies. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean,
I'm
I bet they thought about it and were like, "No, we can't do this
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
We can't do this to
We
them."
can't.
I'm pretty
No.
sure I held my breath the whole time Nightcrawler was fighting him. And then when he just like blasted Nightcrawler and Nightcrawler was knocked out, I was like, oh, thank God. Okay. There's no arm in Nightcrawler's chest killing them.
Yeah. They're going to save that moment for season 3 when Bastion shows back up. Then we'll get it, Michelle?
Yeah, because where did Bastion go? Like
No,
he
really.
he can't really die, right? Like he will be put back together no matter what. Because I mean, he got blasted pretty bad by the whole team, especially Jubilee in her moment. Like I was like, yes, girl, take this fucker out. Like he needs to die. And he was still trucking. And even though Cyclops was like, it's okay, bro, like we can still be friends, Bastion was like, nah, I'm out. Like humanity's gonna finish the job for me. Which, by the way, in that meeting, it sounded like nobody wanted to launch those missiles. Like, Black Panther was like, no, I don't think we should. Even Captain America was like, it's kind of risky. And then it's President Kelly, right? Like he's like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. He's like, fuck the X-Men. I was like, oh my God, that's a statement. That is a statement. Like the X-Men are gonna remember that he basically like wanted. He was like, we're gonna sacrifice them. It's fine. This is fine. You know. Yeah. I also like a thought with like the atmosphere and everything. One of my friends, Tyler, like DM'd me about the moon, and he's like, "What is going on with the moon? Is that the Inhumans?" And I could not confirm that. I was like, "Oh, they are on the moon, right? So maybe like that's why there's some breathable air out there." I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah, the blue area of the moon, because
right?
there was a scene there in the original animated series
Yeah.
where they were fighting the Shi'ar, I believe, in the blue zone of the moon.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Okay. Because I got really excited. I was like, are we gonna get some Inhumans too? I'm like, please,
More cameos.
please. Yes. More cameos. More cameos. Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
y'all like kind of like talked about it already, so
Yeah.
agree. Concur.
We saw Wanda, and if there's any sort of like hint towards the Inhumans, I will pay money to see Scarlet Witch take out Black Bolt again, just like in
Okay,
Multiverse of
rude.
Madness. That was so
No.
fun.
No.
I'm sorry, James. Do you not realize that Michelle and I actually love the Inhumans as much as we love the X-Men?
I do now. I do now. I'm not
Oh.
retracting my
Stefania's like, I'm
words.
just not even gonna reply.
Ah!
Every time I watch Multiverse of Madness, I laugh when that scene happens. Like, ha, ah,
Oh my God,
that
that
was
is
good.
daddy. You
Rude.
cannot laugh at him.
So rude.
He doesn't love you back. He can't even say it.
He
Anyway.
does it with his eyes.
Oh,
His
oh,
eyes.
oh.
There's more than just vocal. There's physical.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
you
Rogue.
know how like Rogue can't touch? Like Black Bolt can't use his words.
Exactly.
So,
So
yeah.
like most men, like
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch that movie after this. Anyway,
Oh,
You really
no.
would just for that one scene?
I would.
Because
Ooh.
I'll
I'd
fast
pass
forward
on
to that
that.
one scene. Yeah, I'm just like I don't know why it's so satisfying. And to be honest with you, if I'm being brutally honest, I'm completely indifferent to Black Bolt. Like I don't hate him. And I'm not in love with him either because I've actually read. I have very little exposure in my life to Inhumans. I never watched the show. I've never read the comics. There was something so just comedically funny about that scene, and I know it's not supposed to be funny, but it just is. But I'm gonna get lynched later.
Fun fact, the Inhumans were actually called the Uncanny Inhumans before the X-Men were ever called the Uncanny X-Men.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah,
I don't want to get off on a total side tangent here, but when did the Inhumans debut in the comics?
I honestly have no idea. I just know
Um,
that they were called the Uncanny Inhumans before.
I can
Because
Google it real quick. My computer's right here.
I have their
we got,
first appearance. It was in Fantastic Four.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like everybody debuted in Fantastic Four.
I
But it
love that
definitely
I love
precedes
that
the
we have,
Okay. Oh,
X-Men.
yeah.
we have tech
Fantastic
team
Four
Rogue over here.
45.
Okay.
Huh?
You're like Rogue, but like tech Rogue.
Yeah.
Oh, she can get
Click,
techie.
click, 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 click.
Mutant in the chair.
ASMR. Fantastic Four 45, December 1965.
65. See, I'm just concerned because we started talking about the Inhumans and the viewers started dropping. Like, oh Lord.
So
They're like, this
rude.
is no longer about X-Men.
Stinking like freeform. Here we go. Anywho. Um, so, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about X-Men 97, episode 10. This is not a Black Bolt massage fest. But
Oh, I would love to massage Black Bolt.
what's that?
Same.
I said I would love to massage
Same.
Black Bolt.
Yeah, he'll massage you with his eyes.
Or
But
his strong hands. I
He's
mean,
got hands.
yeah.
Anyway, back to the mute.
just don't make him moan, he'll blow your head off. But anyway.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Anywho, yeah, we dropped even more. Anyway, so
We actually did. I paid attention this time.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so we flash back to Bastion's town. We see that Forge has freed Cooper. Cable is sitting inside the diner, just kind of like not having a good day. Jean and Scott appear to him psychically. I think this was a fantastic scene. They sort of have this exchange because Jean and Scott kind of feel like this is the end, and we wanted to tell you that we love you, and we're sorry all this stuff happens to you, and we're proud of you. We see the asteroid M is coming down, and everybody on Earth can see it. This is becomes like cameo rich, like once again, because we see Peter Parker and MJ from the Spider-Man animated series, which Flash Thompson, they're like watching it on the news. Beast becomes the guy in the chair back inside the asteroid M, where he's just like Stefania, just clicking away, doing something. I don't know. I'm assuming something useful. Morph is at Wolverine's side and changes into Jean and says that I love you, Logan, and stay with me. And just like when he did that, the same thing when Scott said something to him earlier, that's the only time you see any kind of stimuli out of Logan where he takes a deep breath or grunts or something. We see that Jubilee and Sunspot now arrive at the diner. Do you want to get into a game of whose are bigger?
Definitely are.
Let me
Viewers
get mine
up.
too.
Oh, it dropped off again. Never mind. We see Nightcrawler praying over an unconscious Eric and Charles. Back inside the mines, the waters are raging. Eric Lencher remembers that he's Magneto and goes full Super Saiyan. There was a moment right before that where I swear to God Xavier was going to swaddle him. It was getting it was inching further and further into that territory. Magneto rips through the roof of the X-Jet and uses his power to stop Asteroid M from falling, brings it back into space. The world celebrates, and just then it just completely flashes out of existence. Right there. Who wants to go first? Michelle?
I know we're talking about Charles and Magneto having their gay moments, but for me, it was Morph and Wolverine. Throughout the whole season, you can see that Morph is holding a torch for him, especially in the third episode when it's not really your fantasy. It's your fantasy and then it turns into a nightmare. But Morph is going into the showers and Wolverine's there and he's like, oh hey, you need a hand. And from that moment on I was like, they're not besties. Morph loves this man. And when Wolverine is down, he's like, Jean can't say it, but I can. And I feel like it's much more than him just morphing into Jean to console and get Wolverine through this moment, but it's also Morph's way of expressing to Wolverine that he loves him. And I think with all that's happening right there, even with the Nathan and his daddy issues and stuff, I feel like this moment it's very quick, but it's super meaningful. So there's a lot to talk about, but that's all I want to talk about. That's it for me.
Dylan?
I mean, I super love the Morph moment too. I think some people forget, I think it was in either the first or second episode, so it was before the Fire Made Flash. I can't remember what caused it, but Wolverine is down and whatever, and just like hanging out in a tree. And then Morph is like, "Hey, I have beer," and like Wolverine doesn't care. So then Morph changes into Sabretooth, and like it's this weird, very homoerotic growl smile, and then Wolverine's like, "Yeah, let's go." Like, okay,
Like he's like, you want to fight?
you guys are doing the ultimate game of role play because Morph can be anyone. Uh, but yeah, I super liked that moment too. Even though I think publicly the voice actor of Morph has said that they don't want Morph to be with Wolverine, but okay, good for you. Everybody else wants Morph to be with him. That was very touching. I actually got a little teary eyed for the Morph saying "I love you" part. Um, uh, what else? I don't want Magneto and Charles together, so I don't really want to talk about them. Um,
There's like Nathan and his parents.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
me not liking Jean a lot. It was still, I do really like Cable though, and so him getting to have that moment of, oh, it's that kind of goodbye type of thing, and then just him saying, like, telling them about the rebels that told him about the X-Men, and him saying like, I was supposed to be there, like that was my family, and like Jean saying like, you are there, like that, this is, it's happening right now. uh and then Cable being like, well, the rebels didn't give my parents justice. And it's just like, we've had how many episodes now of him saying, "You're not my mom," like 18 times. And then now he's calling her his mom. It's very touching.
Steph?
Well, I just want to pause on this moment and go back real quick because I just remembered this. In the Magneto Protocols folder, if you look closely, it shows aliases of Magneto, and it's every actor that has voiced or played him. So I thought that was pretty cool. And they're like blacked out too. Also, so I like paused and like looked at everything on this file. There's children's names, so you have Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and then it says Lorna. I think it says Lorna. I don't know if it said Lorna and then blacked out Dane or oh, I think it said like Polaris, but like part of it was blacked out. I think it was P and then blacked out. But that was pretty cool Easter egg. So I thought I'd point that out. Now, fast forward back to this moment. I, I loved the scene with Morph and Wolverine. It's just like Morph is always there by Wolverine's side, you know, like that's their like partner and partner in crime, partner, whatever you want to call it. They just have like such a great bond, and you know, going back to like when Wolverine is in the tree and you know then Morph comes and changes to Sabretooth and stuff, like they have this close bond, and I really want them to dive more deep into that in next season, even if it isn't like you know um, a romantic kind of thing. It's just like kind of like just a bond that they have. This very like solid friendship and family, like their family. The scene with Cable and Jean and Scott was so sweet. I love that a lot. And it's kind of like Cable had FOMO, you know, he missed out on these things and people were telling these stories about the X-Men and his parents and great things that they did. Um, so you can imagine how he feels. Like, you know, I was supposed to be there, but I got infected and I had to go to the future and, you know, but it's something that he couldn't control. So, but he's there now, you know, like he's fighting now. He's part of history. Um, and the fact that before, you know, when they were saying their goodbyes, Jean and Cyclops, um, Jean made Cyclops's eyes show, and so Cable could see like where he got his eyes from, and it was just like a really heartfelt moment. And the fact that he accepted Jean as his mom now is really really touching. I loved that. a lot. But Magneto, oh, Magneto came out of nowhere and said, "I am Magneto." Yes, you are, Hunty. You are. Yeah, I loved that for him. I was afraid that he was gonna like not remember anything, and then we were gonna get like something. I don't know. I thought he was gonna like lose his whole memory and was like, well, shit, what's gonna happen now? But no, he came back. He slayed. He came. He conquered. Left no crumbs. And then disappeared. So
Poof.
poof.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
The
lost.
I
Oh
feel
my
terrible.
god.
I can't off the top of my head remember.
I like lost hair in this wig. It's like
That's how much
losing my real hair.
it's stressing you out.
Literally.
I cannot, off the top of my head, remember the voice actor's name for Morph.
JP Carliak.
JP, there it was. One of the things that was interesting is when we were at WonderCon during the X-Men fandom panel, and he was up there and was discussing the character. And I thought, looking back on it now, knowing that at that point in time they had recorded all of season one, one of the things that he had said that really sticks out to me is that the relationship between a gay man and a straight man can be a very powerful, beautiful thing. And that occurred to me as I was watching that scene, that this, in his head could have been potentially what he was referring to as this sort of relationship between Logan and Morph. And that's going to be really interesting to see, like, where that goes going forward.
If
So,
I
yeah.
can, if I can say something real quick, yeah, even though I want them together, it is nice that they could tell a story. I hope they can tell a story about a straight man and a gay man because those stories aren't told that much. And in the animated series, Wolverine was pissed when Morph died. Like, he was upset and so mad and sad. And in the episode where they fought Trask, when they first found out about Omega Sentinels, uh, like when Morph was Quicksilver and then he got blasted, like Wolverine was like Morph and like was not thinking, and he was then blasted. So like Wolverine loves him
Mhm.
in some way.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see that going forward. I want to see that. That's one of the storylines I want to keep an eye on for season two. As we draw this episode to a close, we now get this voiceover saying it's been 6 months. We see Xavier's, it's all chained up, but there's kind of like memorials outside, like people have left flowers and pictures and those kind of things. Inside, Forge is working in a lab. We see the oh no, oh dude, if you come back in a wheelchair and a skull cap, I swear to God.
Maybe he's gonna come back as Forge. Forge is the new leader.
Right.
Putting together the team.
There we go.
Can you guess who this is?
Uh,
Glasses and a backward blue hat. I'm you, Finch.
oh, well, you got to tell. I was thinking X-Men,
I know, me too. I was like, I don't know.
I don't have a Cubs hat. I was trying to, yeah.
I'll get
I
you one.
couldn't.
Don't worry, bro. We'll hook you up. Yeah, I was just a part of it. I was blown away by the beauty. I'm like, why does that look so great? But I can't recognize the. Oh, it's because you were cosplaying me. Yeah, that'll have that effect.
Morphing into you, not cosplay.
Well, you're
I'm
not near as dusty. You got time. That'll happen next. So please don't worry.
Oh my god.
That's never going anywhere, by the way. So, yeah, we see Forge. Everybody's been analyzing this poster that was behind him, like showing all these characters and their statuses. Some of them have nothing on. The characters we saw mostly in this episode are like, presumed dead. Quicksilver and Wanda say off-world. Jubilee, Sunspot, and I believe Morph all say, and Cable, no, not Morph. Cable, Jubilee, and Sunspot all say AWOL. Bishop walks in, and Forge is kind of like, "Hey, who are you?" Cable's like, "Don't worry, we know each other. The X-Men aren't dead; they're lost in time. It's our job to go find them." Which is interesting because then Forge gets a little bit of a smile on his face, like, "Hey, Roro might be out there." Yeah, Bishop says, hey, they were pulled through time, someone or something. We cut to Egypt in the year 3000 BC in the desert, where we see Rogue, Magneto, Xavier, Beast, and Nightcrawler save a man by the name of En Sabanur from being attacked. Of course, those of us who know that's Apocalypse. He just hasn't gone all pocky yet. On the flip side of that, we see 3960 AD. Jean and Scott are kind of in a wasteland. In the background, you can see pyramids. So I'm assuming this is Egypt once again. And they are confronted by Mother Ascani and a very young Nathan Summers. And then, of course, we get the post-credit scene of Apocalypse in Genosha, where he pulls out Gambit's Queen of Hearts and kind of gives his laugh. Wow. Who to start with? Finch, go ahead.
I thought you were going to talk. I was like, yeah, I thought you were just going to keep talking.
I forgot I morphed into you. Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Okay.
I have a Marg waiting, so we got to make this fast.
Okay. Well, now that I'm Finch, Wolverine's the best. Wolverine this, Wolverine that. Where is Wolverine? We didn't see him.
Also, you should talk smack about Black Bolt.
Yeah.
And Black Bolt sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I can't do that. But where is Wolverine, Storm, and Morph? Like, we didn't see them. I love the storyline in comics that was called Rise of Apocalypse, where you got to see his origins. And animated young Apocalypse is daddy. So Magneto, who? Like, Apocalypse is the new thing. I've actually never read The Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix because, again, I don't like Jean. So I think I might read it now to prepare for next season. And I love that Bishop is back. Yay for Bishop. Where have you been? You lost a child. What's wrong with you? And they gave Forge a first name, and he's never had a first name in comics, so that's fun. The poster was fun, seeing all those people. But the one thing that I am like super excited about is if I am not an X-Men fan, I am a Star Trek fan. And the voice of Mother Ascani is Gates McFadden, who is Dr. Beverly Crusher on Next Generation. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Combining my two worlds. That's all.
As a side note, I just want to say that, like, as a child, that Dr. Beverly Crusher and Jean Grey, like, completely play the role in redheads being my kryptonite to this day as an adult. But anyway, Michelle, what you got?
I am so stoked for everything that they're setting up here. Like, we're getting Red and Slim in the future raising Cyclops' son and Jean's stepson. Like, Cable was so upset that he didn't have his parents, yet here he's getting them and he doesn't even know it yet. Like, this is setting up so many like cool things. They basically like train him and raise him until he's like 16-ish. And then with Forge and Bishop coming together and that poster, I'm really hoping that we get like a, not necessarily like a blue team or gold team, but like a whole new team, kind of like how we got Outback X-Men in the comics. This might be our, like, the X-Men 97 version of Outback X-Men. Granted, we don't have Dazzler. Or do we? I don't know. I don't think she's dead. I think she was unconscious. I'm just saying. I'm holding out for hope on that. And then I don't know what this storyline with them in the desert with El Sabanur comes from, but I'm into it. I'm intrigued. I want to know more. And then I feel like all the like deep X-Men fans knew that Gambit was not gonna just stay dead. Like, he was gonna be death. We've gotten a lot of like hints, and that last end credit scene just kind of sealed the deal for me. on him coming back as one of the horsemen. So, yeah.
Speaking of which, Steph, you called that with Apocalypse, but we'll close this out by getting your thoughts on the whole end scene.
Okay. I too think that there's going to be a new team. And I'm hoping it's all the X-Men that are still, that don't have any writing on them on that poster. I'm hoping it's like that team of X-Men. So it'll be really, really cool to see all of them. And I too, what I was wondering, I was like, okay, where's Storm, Wolverine, Morph? Where'd they go? Like, if we're thinking like they're in eras where Apocalypse is like present, then they could be in like some sort of other timeline, maybe in like the near future, like kind of like Days of Future Past timeline. It would make sense, especially with like Storm and Wolverine being a couple in that timeline. And I I freaked out with the post credit scene because I made that theory and I was like saying it for a while too. Even like before I made the video, I was like saying it for a bit. I was like, there's only one way this can go, and it has to be he comes back as a horseman because that's what happens in the comics after M Day, and this is just like M Day, and except they call it E Day. And I was like, he's got to come back as Death. It makes sense. And then confirmed, Apocalypse. Thank you for the card and for the name drop. It just made my whole day. I kid you not, I jumped out of my seat. I'm pretty sure I was the only person because I saw this Monday at the X Mansion. So we were with a bunch of other people, and I was like the only person that jumped out of my seat and like was freaking out. I mean, like people were freaking out. I was like out there, It just feels so good when you theorize something and it comes true because you hear like all these theories from people and it's like they don't come true, or if you watch like New Rock Stars, they predict everything and it comes true. And I'm like, finally something that I predicted came true. So I was very, very happy. I'm so excited to get him back. I'm already theorizing who the other three horsemen are going to be. I am hoping one of them is Wolverine because Wolverine was a horseman as well, and that really isn't said enough. But we will see. So my theory is, I'll tell y'all now, that Apocalypse will probably resurrect dead X-Men to be his horsemen, except for Wolverine if Wolverine does become a horseman. But an example of that would be Gambit, and then he would have to do 3 more. So I'll have to make like a list of who I think would be horsemen for him. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm also excited about a possible Avengers versus X-Men. There's going to be a lot of stuff that happens next season, and I really want it to be more than 10 episodes. Like 13 at least.
Michelle,
Yeah,
you said that we saw Dazzler dead. Maybe it'll be ones that we saw die on
She was
Genosha.
unconscious. She's not dead.
She was dead.
She's
Gambit was like, and
unconscious.
people have
But
died.
Callisto's definitely dead,
Yeah.
so she could come
Gambit
back.
was like, people have died, and they showed Dazzler and Sebastian. She dead.
Gambit and
But maybe
Doctor.
she'll be a horseman.
They were unconscious. That was bad. That was false news. False news. Fake reporting.
Okay.
Trish Toby, get it together.
Oh, wait. I just thought, because of Stefania's theory, we saw Banshee and Marrow die. And Banshee has been a horseman in comics before, too.
Yes.
There you go. You got Callisto, Banshee, Marrow, and Gambit.
Dazzler.
Dazzler is still alive as well. She's recuperating in like a rehabilitation center because she was very badly injured. She's getting ready to go on tour.
Trying to get her Dazzle back.
She's not dead. She went to the Mojoverse. She's in the Mojoverse.
Well, all right. That, ladies and gentlemen, best way to put it, that's a wrap on season 1. Like, Michelle, Dylan, Stefania, I want to thank you guys for doing these things. Everybody who also came in along the way, all of you are awesome. Everybody who's watched these things. Thank you so much. Anything anybody wants to say on the way out? Because Michelle's dying to get to her drink. So
I have a marg waiting for me with two sexy guys across the street.
Two
great.
guys.
Mexican. I got two guys. Well, one's your guy,
Oh,
one's my guy. Yeah.
that's
I got two hot dates. I got two hot dates waiting for me with a marg.
my closing thoughts are Dazzler's dead. Wolverine sucks. And uh Stefania likes Dusty. I don't know. I can't. I was like, what can I say about Stefania?
I mean, there's nothing to say.
Keep in mind that Apocalypse is like, what, 5,000 years old? So if you thought Magneto was Dusty, and this is your new daddy, like, he's like
This
archaeological
is like
level
great
Dusty.
grandpa.
Yeah.
This is like
Graddy?
Brad.
Would it be
grand. I don't know.
granddaddy?
Giving off that goes Grady vibes, you big gilf, you.
No,
No.
no.
Bill just says no.
Morph says no.
Morph says no. Well, all right. Well, hey guys. Once again, thank you so much. Love you all. Anybody who's here, Uncanny Experience, end of September. Let's go. All four of us are going to be there. We'll probably get into much more horrible conversations, and that's okay. But yeah, once again, thank you. All of you have a good night, and we'll talk to you again another time.
Bye.
Bye.